Hello and welcome back to the channel, where today we're reading chapter 16 of Matthew's Gospel. We have some commentary from Bishop Barron, from G.K. Chesterton, and from St. Cyprian of Carthage. And the chapter heading is The Demand for a Sign. The Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test Jesus they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He answered them, "When it is evening, you say, 'It will be fair weather, for the sky is red.' And in the morning, 'It will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening.' You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil and adulterous generation asks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah." Then he left them and went away. When the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Jesus said to them, "Watch out and beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." They said to one another, "It is because we have brought no bread." Becoming aware of it, Jesus said, "You of little faith, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not perceive? Do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many baskets you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many baskets you gathered? How could you fail to perceive that I was not speaking about bread? Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." Then they understood that he had not told them to beware of the yeast of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah and one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" And Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he sternly ordered the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. From that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and undergo great suffering at the hands of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the 3rd day be raised. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "God forbid it, Lord. This must never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." Then Jesus told his disciples, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the whole world but forfeit their life? What will they give in return for their life? For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father. Then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." And so we'll read the commentary first of Bishop Barron in relation to verses 13 to 18. Who do you say that I am? Who do people say that the Son of Man is? The disciples said, "Some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." We can easily imagine that Jesus, like any celebrity, had excited a buzz of interest and that there must have been many such opinions and interpretations bandied about. But what all of those readings, reflective of the popular consensus, had in common was that they were wrong. Having heard the results of this popular opinion survey, Jesus turned to his inner circle, the 12, and asked, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter alone spoke. "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." He would have said, Messiah, the anointed, the one who would gather the tribes and cleanse the temple and defeat Israel's enemies. But then he added that startling phrase, Son of the living God. Somehow, even at this relatively early stage in Jesus' ministry, Peter intuited that Jesus was much more than a prophet or rabbi or seer, however significant. He knew that there was something qualitatively different about his master. Jesus responded to this confession of Peter with some of the most extraordinary language in the New Testament. "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it." Neither the crowds nor the aristocratic circle around Jesus knew who he was. Only Peter knew. And this knowledge did not come from Peter's intelligence or from an extraordinary education, he didn't have one, or from his skill at assessing popular opinion. It came as a gift from God, a special charism of the Holy Spirit. Because of this gift given only to the head of the 12, Jesus called Simon by a new name. In Aramaic, Cephas, rock or rocky, rendered in Greek as Petros and in English as Peter. On the foundation of this rock, Jesus declared that he would build his ecclesia, his church. Though it was fashionable some years ago for scholars to deny that Jesus ever intended to found a church, now most analysts hold that it would be hard to imagine a Messiah without a messianic community. That is to say, without a renewed Israel. And Jesus insists that this society, grounded in Peter's confession, would constitute an army so powerful that not even the fortified capital of the Dark Kingdom itself could withstand it. It's fascinating to me how often we construe this saying of Jesus in precisely the opposite direction, as though the church is guaranteed safety against the onslaughts of hell. In point of fact, Jesus is suggesting a much more aggressive image. His church will lay successful siege upon the kingdom of evil, knocking down its gate and breaching its walls. And notice too how Jesus uses the future tense, I will build my church. Therefore, he cannot be speaking simply of Peter personally, but of all those who would participate in his charism throughout the centuries. The integrity of this ecclesia will be guaranteed up and down the centuries, not through appeal to popular opinion, as instructive as that might be, nor through the ministrations of an institutional or theological elite, as necessary as those might be, but rather through the Pope's charismatic knowledge of who Jesus is. And then we hear from G.K. Chesterton in relation to verse 18, why the church is indestructible. When Christ, at a symbolic moment, was establishing his great society, he chose for its cornerstone neither the brilliant Paul nor the mystic John, but a shuffler, a snob, a coward, in a word, a man. And upon his rock he has built his church, and the gates of hell have not prevailed against it. All the empires and kingdoms have failed because of this inherent and continual weakness, that they were founded by strong men and upon strong men. But this one thing, the historic Christian church, was founded on a weak man. For that reason, it's indestructible. For no chain is stronger than its weakest link. And St. Cyprian of Carthage writes, on this rock I will build my church, in relation to verses 18 and 19. I tell you, Jesus says, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. On Peter he builds the church, and to him he gives the command to feed the sheep. And although he assigns a like power to all the apostles, yet he founded a single chair cathedral, and he established by his own authority a source and an intrinsic reason for that unity. Indeed, the others were also what Peter was, that is, apostles, but a primacy is given to Peter, whereby it's made clear that there is but one church and one chair. So too, all the apostles are shepherds, and the flock is shown to be one, fed by all the apostles in single-minded accord. If someone does not hold fast to this unity of Peter, can he imagine that he still holds the faith? If he should desert the chair of Peter, upon whom the church was built, can he still be confident that he is in the church? Thanks for listening.